my blabbering earlier. That's good.
Yeah, it's recording now. I'm so
What
busy.
it do? What it do? People out there in the world, we about to break this stuff down. We're gonna get into some Zoe, Godfried, and the focus of this is to help people to understand how do you decipher a truth from a lie, and even taking it a step back from that, how do you decipher what's fluff and what's something that you can build off, what's scalable, what's quantifiable, what's subjective, what's subjective. And we're listening to this broadcast here by our good brother, Mr. Zoe Williams, who's a brilliant mind, but he seems to lack what a lot of us in our community lacks, and I mean just the broader American community, uh, is understanding of logical reasoning, valid argumentation, and we're gonna talk about that here while listening to him. And I'm just gonna take each part by part and begin to unravel this tapestry of sophistry and rhetoric to help you at home to be able to do it in your daily lives. Thanks for tuning in.
Sounds good. So let's go ahead and get into it. Right now, starting off, this is, like I said, this is part two. Start off with part one. We're going to finish off this show. Finish off the show. It was an hour and 41 minutes. So we got like 50 minutes left. So we're going to break down and examine more of this show. So starting off, the guy that's speaking right here is Dr. Phil Valentine, renowned, well respected in the Black conscious community. Let's see what he got to say.
Because we've been washed in the blood. So blood has had action not allowed.
Lifetime, do you think that religion contributes to our post-slavery traumatic disorder?
It tends to forgive the transgressor and does not allow for closure. In other words, when we start speaking about closure and we talk about the reintroduction or the revisitation of our trauma, Christianity is constantly telling us about somebody who got their asses whipped and nailed to a cross, and that he was continuing to forgive. And what you just because you got whipped and nailed and castrated, you can end up forgiving. So if you now accept this religion that says that Jesus has absolved you of all sins, just go ahead and dip your face into this water, and I absolve all anything that's going to be happening from now on is within the blood of Jesus. You've been washed in the blood of Jesus. Everything's been forgiven. That's why black folks ain't got one goddamn cent of reparations yet. Everybody else got it, and everybody's telling us get over it. But now everybody who didn't get over it, the Japanese, the Jews, everybody got reparations for what it is that were done as an injustice, so that there was closure. But for African peoples, there is no closure, because no one is actually coming to the point where we are addressing those past transgressions so that we don't have to have this conversation constantly every time.
Wow.
Black folks are having this conversation because we have no closure.
Wow.
And we don't seek closure now because we've been washed in the blood, not of our ancestors anymore, but of Jesus Christ.
Wow. Listen, we got to take a quick break. Before I go to break, Krishnamurti, another quote. Apply this to your religious view, how you see religion. Religion causes us to be very judgmental, very black and white, right or wrong, good and bad, left and right, God and the devil, good and evil. The ability to observe with.
Hold on, bros. Hold on. You hear me? Something's going on with my Wi-Fi. Is it chopping up on your side?
Yeah, it is.
Because I know it's already chopping up with Dr. Phil every time he talks on the phone. Oh, there we go, right here. Hold on. Hold on for a few minutes, bro. That's probably why I know what's going on with my audio, man. I never really had this problem before. Hello, can you hear me? Yo.
Yep.
Yeah, my bad. I forgot I ain't got an adapter on that laptop. So I'm just went ahead and restart the router. I'll disconnect that.
Why is this in this thing? You want me to take it out?
Hmm?
Are you just gonna experiment?
What?
It's in the thing.
I don't know. I think I did. I saw it when I came back in.
You did do it?
I said I didn't know it was in there. Then I said, I did. I saw it when I came back in.
And let me just wait till it load up right now.
Huh?
What's going on?
What did she say?
Hmm?
We have the stuff for it now.
I know what a Philly is.
Oh, okay. I know you can
I
hurt.
taught you a Philly.
I was trying to get something different. You're like, oh, I didn't know you had to do
It's
it.
crazy because I feel like my lips look funny on the camera. Like it looks like I got these big old lips just kind of hanging out.
Make you look better in person.
Oh, that was on mute.
This guy here. Nah, it's not recording anyway, so I'm trying to.
It's just showing it's recording.
Oh snap! On my phone. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to get back on the lap. These are recorded from the. I never recorded from the.
Cause more problems.
That's how black folks get you. Said it wasn't recording, so I started saying all kind of crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Go Trump and all that kind of stuff. And next thing you know, they got me blackmailed. Come on, go Trump or something.
If you're scared, just let me know, man.
No.
What's wrong with Trump? No, I'm just playing. I'm not even into. Oh, here we go. Because I sent you that. They said that was some fake news he put out about That was the only thing that didn't make sense. 80, blacks kill 80% of white folks. That was pretty funny. All right, so hopefully this will be all right, man. We can just knock this out and be on to the next topic, the next podcast. So I feel like we're doing something, being consistent. Let's go.
Lord of Jesus Christ.
Wow. Wow. Listen, we got to take a quick break. Before I go to break, Krishnamurti, another quote. Apply this to your religious view, how you see religion. Religion causes us to be very judgmental, very black and white, right or wrong, good and bad, left and right, God and the devil, good and evil. The ability to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence. Seeing things for what they are, not for what we think them to be. Oh, this might be good for me. How many times have you found out that something you thought was good for you was actually toxic? Just because it felt good didn't actually mean it was good for you. And converse, just because it felt badly doesn't necessarily mean it was bad for you. Again, you can't just break life down into some linear black and white. Guess what? That tends to attract the conflict you're seeking to avoid. When we come back, the God Fraud Show continues. Hot heat. We'll be back.
Yeah, I guess I see what you were saying earlier before we had brief interruption. I guess him trying to connect the dots where, you observing things without examining it. It's a perfect example of things that's bad for you, that's good for you. Was you talking about that? Trying to connect those two?
Yeah.
Yeah, that did throw me off. Yeah, let's see what the connection was on that one.
We gotta get my mom hot one day. We got her in there. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, when you observe without, oh no, that's not the right one. There's somebody interpreting it. Yeah. The bad things, the sucky thing about some of these quotes that some of these guys did in the early 1900s or the early 20th century, they didn't really explain what they meant by a lot of these quotes. So, it's almost up to the reader to try to figure out what they really were saying because it's kind of vague.
No.
Yeah, so
it seems contradictory, or it seems irrelevant. Like, to observe without evaluating. I mean, to what extent do we not evaluate? I mean, if we don't evaluate at all, then how do we know we're observing?
I see one that says the highest form of intelligence is to observe without judgment. Oh no, this says observe yourself without judgment. Yeah, that says another quote. Yeah, but my bad. You were saying though.
To me, it just seems like sophistry and platitudes, and I mean, not empty the idioms. I think it's just one of those things where.
What's sophistry after? You explain what that means. What does that mean?
Normally put the word up on the screen, but because you're not doing that now. But
no, you need to explain what you're saying. People listen to you, man. Well, you know how to spell that. Go ahead.
SOPH.
Oh man. All right, go ahead. SOPH what?
INTR. It's about up south. TRY.
Must be good, man. Okay, it came out. Whatever you eat.
Oh, ice cream. I'm lactose intolerant too, so I'm gonna pay for this.
Wow. wonder if this is it. Yo, this is crazy that my Wi-Fi is doing this. What I need to do? What I need to do? That sucks, man. Man, it's gonna be over. Yeah, we just want to do the best we can to knock it out. Something going on. So some of the stuff it's gonna be hard for me to open some of these windows because my Wi-Fi is acting up for some reason. But can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
So that's why I can't really. So Wi-Fi is off. Oh, here we go. All right. Subtle, tricky, superficially plausible, but generally fallacious method of reasoning and false argument. That's what you're saying? Oh, damn.
That's what he's doing.
Strong words, bro. There we
I
go.
think I'm being nice to him. I think I can make a much stronger case that he's really being, manipulative and trying to brainwash the masses into his soft-headedness. He's trying to replace the mainstream religions with his own religions. Esoteric religions.
Yeah, especially when when he actually examined, you can tell that's what his agenda is. He's saying this is how you're supposed to look at religion.
Yeah, and then I want to know what good has his religion's done for the world. What can we look at? What monuments? What systems? Political systems? What family structures? What can we look at for his system to say, yeah, that works?
Mm-hmm. So what are you saying? Or what are you saying? Because a lot of the Western, Judaic Christian practices, help develop most of the Western world. What are you trying to say about the monuments and museums and
he's
just the way of life?
He's attacking religion. I'm assuming that includes Buddhism, Hinduism, but Buddhism has people that follow Hinduism and Buddhism and Christianity and Judaism, and it's documented. There's books about this stuff. There's a philosophy that's robust and quantifiable.
But what would you say to people who tell you?
What is he offering? He's offering all these different things to deconstruct what we already have available to us. We're going to take us into his maze of madness. If you're gonna tell me 2 + 2 is not 5, show me how 2 + 2 2 + 2 is. But if you're gonna say 2 + 2 is not 5, and we've been able to erect mass buildings and erect all types of skyscrapers using this particular mathematics, that we're going to need more on a practical level. We'll need more than just you telling us is wrong. Show us how your math is going to give us even bigger buildings that are more stable. That's if it's wrong. I wouldn't say it's 2 + 2. I say it's 2 + 2 is 4. And you're going to tell us 2 + 2 is 4, then show us it's not 4. If you think it's not 4.
Well, what if he's saying there's no danger of what he's doing? He's just sharing information. That's all he's doing. Just trying to share information. This information is already out here. What's wrong with him sharing this on his platform?
Same thing Hitler said. Everybody says that. Everybody's going to say what they're saying. It's not dangerous. Hey, look at me. I'm harmless. Why would he say anything other than that? I don't know anybody that said anything other than that wanted the people to follow him. I'm not going to judge him by what he states his intentions are. I'm going to judge him by his technique.
Which is?
His technique is sophistry.
There you hear, folks. Y'all got it. Subtle, tricky, superficial, implausible, but general, fallacious. I'm saying that right? Method of reasoning, a false argument. We could probably do a whole nother And it says, look, it says only fit to make men more conceited in their own ignorance. John Locke. That's fun.
Fact. And that's what this brother right here is a classic example of. His sophistry is making him conceited in his own ignorance. He thinks he's smart. He thinks he's wise with the stuff he's saying, but he's literally contradicting himself every other word, every other sentence.
Wow.
That's hyperbole, but he's contradicting himself, relatively often. So we back to the video. What we doing now?
Let's go. Personal views, logic, jokes, great insight.
How he has a rap career is beyond me. I don't get it. And he takes his shirt off. Oh my God, he looks like 50 pounds of chewed Tootsie Rolls in his All right. And defend the horrible host. There are some horrible people. And what you need to do is start policing your own.
That's a good name.
Start this out with
intellectual rant.
I'm definitely irritated.
Passing of his father.
It's intellectual
love
rant.
Out to y'all, comfort out to y'all, rest in peace.
Intellectual rant.
I don't know what you're talking
with that
about.
said, religion.
What you just said about irritation when you was irritated?
I said he's got a good name because he's definitely irritating.
What was his name? I thought the title was an intellectual rant.
Pull it back. Maybe I misread it.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Oh, intellectual. Oh, okay. So, yes. Is that an I? Yeah.
Yeah, I said the name he has is right because he's definitely an irritant.
I want to start this out with shout out to Tim Alexander and his family in the passing of his father. Love out to y'all, comfort out to y'all, rest in peace to his father.
The one who should be doing the most talking is doing the least amount of talking.
Religion. I was carried in church as a baby. Come on, you got to search far and wide to find a black atheist. We all have been indoctrinated with this. My problem became, as I like.
Hold on,
to
what's
say,
that got to do with anything? I mean, he said
black
carried
people
in
are born
church. There's
Christian.
other religions out there. There's Nation of Islam. There's regular Islam. There's Buddhist. There's 5%er, which is I guess something connected to Islam in some ways. But he goes from I was carried in church to it's hard to find an atheist.
Black atheist. Black atheist.
Yeah,
so most people.
But there's all kind of there's other beliefs out there other than just church.
But most it's safe to say most black people are Christians, right? Would you say that?
I mean, by black, you including Africans and everybody else?
Yeah, I'll say so too. Yeah, in America, right? Context in America.
I would probably have to say so. I mean, Christianity is the biggest religion.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of black Muslims, but I would assume so.
Yeah, what do you say? Let's get into it.
It starts to unravel when they learn how to read. People wonder why is your church? Why does the IRS give your church such breaks, especially when they have 25,000, 30,000 members? This is a reward for keeping 25,000 physical people on point asleep.
That's a conspiracy.
I get into this all the time. Shout out to my mother's friends who watch the show, who cannot stand me, who squirt blessed oil out of riot hoses every time I come around. Yeah. Oh yeah, I get sprinkled. Show me the zodiac. Show me the zodiac in the Bible. It's all through the Bible. 12.
Job chapter 38, verse 31.
Okay.
Amos chapter 5, verse 3. Job chapter. It's there.
It's there. It's all there. It's all there.
They left it untranslated.
You want to check it out?
I mean, we could do that really quick if you can, want to pull it up real fast.
I don't know if it'll be fast with it though, because I didn't I didn't even hear the scriptures. Let's see. I didn't hear the chapter. I'm at least try to pull one of them.
12.
Job chapter 38, verse 31.
Okay.
Amos chapter 5, verse 3. Job chapter. It's there.
It's there. It's all there.
You got
It's
pen
all
and paper
there.
with you?
They left it untranslated.
Exactly.
Right. That's what I
Meseroth.
should have been doing.
Get
Let me just let this ride.
concordance, lexicon, Arabic, English, and Hebrew lexicon, Meseroth. Look it up. It's the Hebrew word for zodiac.
Well, here's what's going to
I'm
happen.
sorry.
The next time we all get together, especially since you light skinned with green eyes, they're gonna love you until you open your mouth.
This beautiful
Yes.
Jesus is number one. No, actually, he's 11th. There are 10 stories that predate Jesus. Your very Bible that you love, but you denounce Egyptian mysticism. It's made up of that. How do I know? I went to Egypt and I read the book from cover to cover, something that Black people don't do. Read the whole Bible. Stop at a few spots. I don't know. Ephesians.
Man,
6,
nobody.
5,
It's not just
tells
Black people.
you to
Nobody
obey
can
your
read the whole
master
book
as you
cover to
do
cover.
Christ. Just Isaiah 45 and 7. I am the Lord thy God. I create good and evil.
Light and dark.
Yes.
All of this is
All of
done
that.
by me.
All by me. Shout out to the gay couples that for whatever reason want to get married to a God who seemed to invent
You got the text? You wrote
just
down the
to
scriptures?
hate you.
Mm-mm.
Figure this shit out. I'm done.
And just start it over.
Wow, we're back. They left 5 verse.
Out of riot hoses every time I come around. Yeah. Oh yeah, I get sprinkled. Show me the zodiac. Show me the zodiac in the Bible. It's all through the Bible. 12.
Job chapter 38, verse 31.
Okay.
Amos chapter 5, verse 3. Job chapter. It's there.
It's there. It's all there. It's all there.
They left it untranslated.
Exactly.
Meseroth. Get your concordance, lexicon, Arabic, English,
Concordance.
and Hebrew lexicon. Meseroth. Look at
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm looking up, and it's funny because a friend of mine said something similar. But when you look up the word Maseroth, he's talking about. This is off Wikipedia. It says Maseroth is a biblical Hebrew term found in the book of Job, and literally meaning constellation. See, this is what I mean by Negroes not paying attention in science class. Constellations, like the Big Dipper and stuff like that, has nothing to do with astrology. That is not one of the astrological signs. Taurus, Cancer. I'm not good. I know it if I think about it long enough. Gemini and Taurus. I think I might have said that one already. What's the little crab one? I don't know. But see, Negroes get on my nerves sometimes because they be.
You see this one?
And it's often interpreted as a term for the zodiac. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you loosen Orion's belt? What sign? I never had nobody say my sign is Orion. Have you heard that?
Nah, not at all. Nah.
Brittany, you heard somebody say their sign was Orion? Yeah, Brittany said she's heard it. Of course not. We haven't heard that. Like that's what I'm saying. People will try to make something mean what they want it to mean.
Mm.
It literally says right, can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? Whatever it says, can you loosen Orion's belt? Yes, Orion's belt just means that when we look at the stars, we see certain patterns and we ascribe a certain human element to it. It's similar to anthropomorphism, where you give human-like quality something that's not human, like saying the wind whispers. We'll see the stars and say that's a belt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you may look at the clouds and see a dog's face or something like that. That is not a Taurus or a Scorpio or the Aries or any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Orion's belt is not related.
What is the purpose of Zodiac? Just studying the stars? Why you think he's probably
Well, I mean, I'm
I
sure
misinterpreted what that's
that's probably
saying
the
there.
first study. It might have been the first study of the stars, just like alchemy was the first chemistry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turning certain other elements into gold, right? Alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't study alchemy in school anymore, do we? No, we don't.
Mm.
We study chemistry. We don't study astrology in school. We study astronomy. And so, like, again, this is where I say Negroes be starting to get in the sophistry. They start feeling themselves when they talking in they bag. And it's like, yeah, it's in there. I'm like, come on, man, stop playing with us right here, man. Because you just told us to start researching stuff and not just believing things blindly. Are we to believe what you're saying blindly here? How do we not pull this up? Some folks may actually think he has a good point.
Mm.
Astronomy, astrology, constellations.
Wow.
What I am curious of to look up what the etymology of astrology is real quick. Let me see. Astrology, etymology. It means star. Now, why is that relevant, Mr. Powell? Oh, sorry. What's your stage name again?
It's Enos.
Enos, Mr. Enos. Why is that relevant? What astrology actually means? I would say it's because. Oh, you're gonna say?
No, that was
I
rhetorical.
was gonna say because when somebody's gonna say, because I'm looking right here, it says that it can be loosely translated to astrology, like astrology, constellation astrology, constellation. That word Mazzaroth that he's talking about, but it just means star, and Orion is a pattern of stars. Yeah. It's not talking about Taurus and Cancer, and this is crazy because these guys go out of their way to try to make the Bible seem contradictory, when if you just let it speak for itself in its own context, you'll know that there is no astrology in the Bible that's endorsed, because the Jews and the Christians historically hated astrology. They are forbidden from astrology. So you're taking these people's book of their own culture and their own people and trying to shove in their mouth what they don't want. They don't want astrology. Why are we trying to, way after the fact, anachronistically, come back from the future and retroactively shove it back into their mouth? Say, no, you did endorse astrology because it's Orion's belt. And Men in Black, Orion's belt. Remember, I don't know if you've seen the movie Men in Black, but the movie Men in Black, when Kay and Will were looking at it, and the whole thing, it says it's an Orion, the alien, right before the alien died, and that man's head was like Orion's belt. So they're looking at the stars for Orion. They're looking at Orion's belt and the stars. This is not astrology. This is not Cancer. This is not zodiac stuff. You know what I'm saying? And found out the cat's name was Orion. So it was a cat that was the owner's, the cat, the owner owned a cat, and the cat's name was Orion. They didn't know that. And it had a little thing on its neck. And that's where the thing they were looking for actually ended up being. Orion could be a cat. Orion is a belt in the sky and has nothing to do with astrology or zodiac. Sorry, it technically has to do with astrology, because astrology just means star, the study of the stars, right? But it's not a science. So again, that's for Dr. Umar and for Zoe on that right there. Don't teach astrology in your school, Dr. Umar. Don't do that. We need STEM, and you know that better than anybody.
They did give me Dr. Umar that fish shot outside when he's as smart as that brother is, man, for him to say he want to introduce astrology to school, man. Wow.
And then we got Mr. Zoe Williams over here talking about it's in there, and then talking about Mazzaroth. We look it up right now, and it means. And again, I'm not saying this to attack this man. I'm saying this because he just told us to do what I just did right there. He told me to analyze my religion, analyze things, evaluate things. Just because it seemed like it's good, I mean it's good for me. What he said seemed like it was good for me. He said it with a nice tone. He came across very much helpful. He came across very much a subject matter expert. It was so tempting not even look it up and just take what he said on face value. It was so tempting to do so.
It's dangerous.
Because it seemed like everybody on the panel agreed with them.
Mm-hmm.
Even though everybody didn't speak, it seemed like it, just the optics. But luckily, we have the internet in our pocket here. And we're able to do some uncovering and realize Maseroth does not mean what he's saying it means. It just means stars. And we found out that Job did not endorse any kind of zodiac. It just meant Orion's belt. Now, next time a girl out here in Houston asks me what my sign is, and she asks me if I'm Orion's belt, then I'll concede the case and say, Zoe, you was right. But until then, I'm calling cap.
Man. Oh man, that was one
What's
of the
your
worst.
thoughts on that, man? Because like this was hot. He said this is hot heat. That's what he said. This is hot heat.
That's one of the words I was telling you about when he was breaking down some of the words with the etymology. Nazaroth was one of the words I remember looking up. Type in Nazaroth. No, I remember typing it in YouTube. Maybe I ain't gonna do it now. And it was like a couple Christian guys bringing up. I had a couple hour videos on it. I was like, oh man.
I don't know how they put the hour on that. That was like hours, but I'm sure they can find a way to make it hours.
You could go on some of the Christian sources Christians will use. Got questions. They talk about it. They got a whole page on what Job meant. I mean, what Mazarah meant, and what I think he said Amos, right? Anyway, when you translate the words, what they were saying, they was looking at the constellation. That was it. And some people just interpret it as the 12 constellations as the zodiac. They want to interpret how they want to interpret it. But yeah, man, that was one of those words like you don't hear this type of stuff often, so you're thinking of something new.
Yeah, dropping bars right now.
Yeah, so
back up, man.
Hey, man.
That was not hot. It's not hot heat. Continue.
Let's go.
Zodiac.
Well, here's what's going to happen.
Sorry.
Oh, he
Next
said
time we all
emphasis
get
too.
together,
Zodiac.
especially since you light skinned with green eyes, they're gonna love you until you open your mouth.
This beautiful devil.
Yes, Jesus is number one. No, actually, he's 11th. There are 10 stories that predate Jesus. Your very Bible that you love, but you denounce Egyptian mysticism. It's made up of that. How do I know? I went to Egypt and I read the book from cover to cover, something that Black people don't do. Read the whole Bible.
Negroes always want credit for reading the book, bro. Negroes always want credit for reading the book.
You said that.
You read the book one time, memorized the entire thing.
Well, grandma in your church haven't read the whole Bible in a few years. It took a lifetime for them to get that. So he read the whole book in Egypt cover to cover.
Let's say you did. So what?
Yeah.
How much of that do you remember right now? They say you remember 40% of what you learned the day before. Now it's probably a couple years ago. What percentage is he on now? And we don't even know how much he understood when he read it.
Exactly.
Because I hope he didn't think the Maseroth thing was hot. If we thought that, then we got to read the whole thing over again. Now we're in no time.
Yeah, definitely. Wonder how long it took him
I'm
to
in
read
my
it.
bag right now.
How long you think it took him to read it from cover to cover?
Man, with these guys' intelligence level, it probably took about 10, 15 years.
What did he say?
That dude kid graduated college while he was sitting there.
Let me rewind that. Hold on for a minute.
No, Ephesians 6, Black people don't do. Read the whole Bible. Stop at a few from cover to cover. How do I know? I went to Egypt and I read the book from cover to cover, something that Black people don't do. Read the whole Bible. Stop at a few spots.
Negro, you ain't do it either.
It tells you to obey your master as you would Christ.
You got a fourth grade reading level going on.
45:7. I am the Lord thy God. I create good and evil.
Light and dark.
Yes,
all of this is done by me.
All by me. Shout out to the gay couples that for whatever reason want to get married to a God who seemed to invent you just to hate you. Figure this shit out. I'm done.
Wow. We're back in the building. Really that was his intellectual rant with slight interruptions. I apologize.
So what, bro?
These guys remind me of you when your kids, your kids are young and they come out and do something that's regular and they want credit for it.
Oh.
Daddy, look at this. They just do a little jig. Yeah, you're like, yeah. Like, go fast. Remember Jason lyric? Go fast, ain't fast over there just dancing and stuff. That's what these guys are, man. You got to throw some money at them, whatever. Yeah, good job, man. Pat them on the back.
I'm still
This
trying
is crazy,
to see.
man.
I'm still trying to see what the relevant. Why is it relevant that he read the book of Egypt? I mean, you could probably read online. What's him being him in Egypt has anything to?
Yeah, what? So what? I read Harry Potter. So what?
I mean, if you read it in London, it might
so
be
more books in
different.
that book, Egypt.
If you read Harry Potter in London, it might make a difference.
Actually, I read Harry Potter, but yeah, my brother did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, before we get back to the brother Dr. Phil, let me hit you with more Krishnamurti quotes. Tradition becomes our security when the mind is secure, right? Wait a minute. Tradition becomes our security, and when the mind is secure, it is in decay. Your mind, boy, okay, we're going to go deeper. To understand the immeasurable, the mind must be extraordinarily quiet and still. You can only be afraid of what you think you know. I'm trying to tell y'all, religion is not, or God is not something you can practice. Most people say, I'm a practicing Christian. I'm a practicing Muslim.
Right here, see, this is what I mean by this sophistry and wordplay right here. He goes, religion is not something you could, God is something you could practice. Nobody's walking around saying, I practice God. You see what I'm saying? So he says that, then he goes back to saying, people say, I practice Christian, I practice this. So he put to contradict himself. First, he says, you can't practice religion. He says it twice, and he catches himself and goes, you can't practice God, which I would agree with. You can't practice a noun. You see what I'm saying? You can't practice. I can't practice dog. I can't practice cat. You can't practice any kind of noun. You see what I'm saying? But then he goes back to, but instead of giving an example of somebody practicing a deity, right? He says you can't practice whatever it is, and it's not a noun anymore. It's back to being a verb or whatever he was using. You know what I'm saying? So again, his bars are not hot. He's not saying anything that's worth anything. He wants to have the glamour of an intellectual without the work of an intellectual. I need to see some more gray hairs on that beard. That's what intellectuals have. I need to see him not dressed so nice. I want to see a busted up collar because he's been up all night researching what he's going to talk about. Wearing the same shirt for 24, 48 hours. Because this ain't it. The light skin and green eyes thing can't save you all the time. I need your knuckles bloody. Because you've been dragging your fists in them books.
I mean, he said he read 7,000 books. I heard him say that on the
What
show.
percentage of books does he remember? And again, that's why I always say you can read all the books you want. There's a scripture that says that in studying books there is no end, and increasing knowledge increases sorrow. The reality is this: you can read all those books, but if you have not logic, you have nothing, young Padawan.
True.
And that's what he's missing, the epistemological foundation. You can't get anywhere if you don't got that.
That's a fact.
Knowledgeable brother with poor reasoning skills. Very common.
What common what? Just in humans or in our community?
Both. Both.
Yeah, just since it's relevant, a way of knowing what connects to the truth in life that recognize the purpose of acquisition of knowledge to engender obedience to the caveat.
What made you bring this up?
No, I'm just thinking. I typed the wrong thing in. Hold on.
That's what I thought. Who made you bring this up?
I was like, I'm looking for the theory of knowledge. I'm like, well, I don't remember reading all this before.
I'm reading it like, did I say that on accident? I'm trying to compute right now. On accident.
Yeah, epistemology is the theory of knowledge that's connected to the mind's relation to reality. What is the relation to be one of knowledge? Do we know things? And if we do, how and when do we know things? That's the question that Zoe should be asking himself, man. Dang. That's why I told you that part when first time you mentioned this to me. I was like, this is the missing key right here. This is the missing key, right? This is the little piece, little small key that can open big doors, man. Yeah.
We about to get back into it or what?
For sure.
In alignment with Yoda, this being God is not something you can practice. Most people say, I'm a practicing Christian. I'm a practicing Muslim. You can't practice being God. You got to be in alignment with Yoda. Coming from Zoda, do
alignment you must be.
do or do not. There is no try. You can't try to be religious. Either you're in alignment with the universal source of all that is that don't.
Now, say let the comedian talk. He's doing his accents. He's still talking. Let him do his accents real quick, man. That's
have a name that don't have
what he's saying.
Have a gender that doesn't have a comprehensible understanding that we can articulate.
Bullshit, you niggas.
Which he just did.
Dr. Phil, speak to us about the vastness and the inability to articulate God and what it really means.
The inability to articulate God.
I had the privilege
got to articulate God.
In my young age to sit at the feet of Krishnamurti twice.
My people,
and it was an awe-inspiring experience. Of course, there was nobody black around me at the time. It was me and a whole lot of white young people at that time and older people. But there are three parts to what we as humans can conceptualize, visualize, as well as internalize. And that is the known, the unknown,
I folks love to rhyme.
That variable called the unknowable.
We can't help it.
We in the
I don't
known,
know what he's
or
talking
what we
about.
believe to be the known.
You heard anybody describe God that way?
And then that variable, that is the known, the unknown, and then that variable called the unknowable. We in the known, or what we believe to be the known, strive and scratch away at the unknown. And in our quest to bring the unknown into the known, we are in visceral manners experiencing that which is unknowable. But we are the unknowable. We are the unknowable in its quest to know itself, because being unknowable to any and everything, it is also unknowable to itself. And it is through the known and the unknown that it participates with itself. And our ignorance is part of the deal, because without that gap, there is no bridge, there is no incentive for us to quest in self-knowledge. So when we teach about that, when we bring ourselves into a place where we are questing towards self, where in that Krishnamurti taught that all our thought processes should never be towards outside, because we create thoughts that then become our burden. That every thought that we think, that we believe something is happening because it's happening to us, or it's against us, or whatever, look at that thought from the thinker's perspective and not what the thinker thinks the other person is thinking and actually attacking them with. So what Krishnamurti is saying is that your thoughts, if you are allowing them to go out of yourself and to take root in something that is an illusion, then you will be trapped in that illusion. But if you, through the observer, curve that thought back to yourself, you will see that it is actually you that is modeling your own world.
Dr. Phil, I gotta ask, man, when are you coming? I dare you to come to Los Angeles and not let us know. I know you don't have time. I know you don't have time to do a free commercial for you. Y'all got to go and YouTube Dr. Phil Valentine, Lucifer. I know you don't have time to break it down.
I'd
He got time to go into the devil.
Can he go? Oh my
The
God!
devil is the
I don't know, man.
The devil is the greatest scapegoat. The devil is the greatest scapegoat for personal responsibility.
Oh my God! You got to hit
He's
his
the
dude.
he's the perfect victimhood excuse in all situations. Corey Holcomb just walked in the building. Corey, we talking about God, the God Fraud Show. And we're talking about the Bible, religion, its effect on the African American community, its effect on our relationships, the whole 9 yards.
And
man.
them pimp glasses you got on. Them glasses is pimp.
Speak to us about it, man.
Yeah. If it wasn't for God, right now, I wouldn't be here today. Ain't that what black people say when they get
when they get the award?
Giving honor to God.
They give all the credit to this God, and the main thing I always get into arguments about with brothers and sisters is I tell them, everything you telling me right now is something that somebody.
Ooh.
Yeah. I call them the regurgitators.
You are forcing your family tradition on me. I don't like that.
Listen.
Stop it right there.
Right. That's what
We got a powerful sister on the phone.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about this already in the past, but everything that we say is from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You think these Negroes were smart enough to come up with the Pythagorean theorem? They probably can't even come up with 2 + 2 = 4.
Mm-hmm.
So they learned that from their teacher, probably from a white teacher at that, depending upon where they grew up. And so my whole point is saying, like, that's not saying anything. Everything we learn, I think we start learning as children. We start learning as toddlers, as babies.
Mm-hmm.
We're trusting the governing authorities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when you listen to Corey and they're always talking about a lot of street codes they go by. That was things that was taught to them, you know, that they should just say what they inherited. But yeah, that's there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, Corey, that's probably he probably gonna get maybe his jokes will be a little bit more funny later on in the show. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. I mean, I'm just want to focus on Zoe. Zoe, the one who's supposed to be the voice of reason.
Oh man,
I haven't heard him reasoning yet.
I keep forgetting that was his title. Voice of
I hear
reason.
Zoe being funny. I hear the other guy being funny. They're doing their job. Zoe ain't carrying his weight.
Well, so with the white guy, he in there too.
The white guy's got that white guilt holding him down. Unleash.
Phone right now.
Set him free.
Before I tell you her name, let me give you another Krishnamurti quote. The constant assertion of belief is an indication of fear. Oh God!
That's dope.
Come on.
I mean, it's possible. You know, I've often said that at times, but you know, I would just insert could be or can be. You know, the constant assertion of your beliefs could be, you know, a sign of insecurity. Yeah, it could be. It's possible. It's not guaranteed. There's other reasons people do it. Mantras, repetition's an important tool. I mean, a lot of the mind sciences, a lot of people teach to say things over and over to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I'm this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people do it in the mirror nowadays. People do all kind of stuff, and you know, a lot of people recommend to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan personally, you know, but it doesn't mean it's not effective. I can see it has some psychological advantages. So again, that quote is a little bit too rigid. Too rigid, as he was talking about earlier, rigid. You know, it's okay when these quotes are being rigid, but it's not okay. It's not okay with a religion that's been around for thousands of years, that's literally impacted the very world that he's living in and the mic that he's talking in right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Gatorade he drinks when he's, you know, in the gym, and the MRI he uses when he breaks his bones, you know, developed within the context of Christianity. You know, all that stuff came from a religion that's established.
Mm-hmm. All right, so.
On deck. Now, is she with us? Where is she? Veronica Conway, call us back. We need Veronica on this line. Call us right now, 855-878-4652. Listen, let's go back to our initial conversation.
I claim the devil.
Again, people are afraid of the devil. Listen, you got the word devil. It's English. First, let's go back. Let's talk about belief and faith and all this, man. Belief, the root word is Latin, be-lie. To give the lie away as a gift from me to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Middle English, bel-air. The lie is a gift from me to you. That produces our English word belief. If you spell it, you see B-E-L-I-E-V-E. The root word of believe is lie. Let's understand that first. The next step is we've misconstrued or misunderstood what faith actually means.
You don't need to believe
the word faith, they use the book of James all the time, the faith of Job, and listen.
No, he slayed me.
So did
What is faith without
Hold on.
works?
We put this,
Right, let me give you that one real quick, and then I'm gonna come back to your question. Faith,
All you
fact
gotta do
beyond
is
a
type
doubt. The word
believe.
imani.
I didn't know you was. I thought that was them in the background. You had something to say?
Yeah, let's put up belief on the screen. Just type in the etymology of belief.
Man, Zoe gonna have to help me with that, man, because I searched all corners of earth for that definition and I didn't find it.
I don't know if you know your face goes off the screen when you know sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to angle it. All right.
I should have told you that before.
Yeah, I was trying to.
I'm almost 40 years old and I still got ADHD and can't just sit still.
I thought you was trying to stay up. Okay, we gotta get through this.
Unfortunate byproduct of I don't know what it is.
But he said something about bel-air. I couldn't find that either.
It's type of etymology of belief.
Yeah, let's do Google. All right, so this one popped up.
What does the search say?
Etymology of beliefs.
You put believe. But I guess we can work that. I guess that's fine.
Let's
No, he said believe.
Yeah, that's pretty much it right there.
It says belief meaning. I don't. Where you don't have. You don't have. You have. Oh, there you go. Etymology of belief. Yeah. You probably might have to go to like an actual website for etymology. Yeah, etymology online. Yeah, that one right there. Let's see if what he's saying has any kind of accuracy.
Still don't see it. Then I was trying to look at what he said. I don't say anything about that. Confidence before the person in the faithful religion replacing all English. See, it doesn't even. That's crazy. You can see it?
Yeah, I don't see anything about lie in there.
That's wild, bro. Because it says that it's replacing the old English word galalafa or whatever.
Does he be lying? Back with some hot heat. Back with some more hot heat. Come on, man.
Yeah. That's wild, man.
Boys just be talking.
We name our kids Imani. And that's the Arabic misinterpretation of Amun. Amen.
And what he's saying that's actually true. Astrology in the Bible, now the money, all that kind of stuff. It's like, man, I gotta look up every word you say.
Yeah. Imani. And that's what historians been going back and forth. I seen what he was saying about that they pronouncing the Imani wrong. They really saying Amen or Amun or what he was saying. Well, let me rewind that.
Imani. We name our kids Imani. And that's the Arabic misinterpretation of Amun. Amen. And we end our prayers with that. It means fact beyond a doubt. We got to be able to talk about this stuff. Corey, hit us.
So when I say the devil made me sleep with that woman that I shouldn't have been sleeping with, how am I copping out when I do that? Because I say the devil made me do it, and it make all my lost Christian brothers and sisters sort of have some type of compassion for what I did. I say the devil made me do it. So, but what really made me do it? What made me do it?
A better question.
You know what?
Wow, that's heavy.
Let the doctor.
Family.
What do you say?
If anybody is black folks, if there's any God that any black folks are supposed to be following, is Lucifer. Because if you look at the story of Lucifer, he was the first rebellion. He was the first rebel to say no to authority.
Ooh,
Wow.
I spoke on that on a show.
Okay.
Everybody looked at me crazy.
And when you hear people talk like this, brother, it's like the stuff you be thinking you just didn't word it
pause
like that.
Look here, man.
No.
I always felt that way. Like I was always fascinated by this devil. I'm like,
Now
what's the
listen.
devil? He sound like
We got two
he
callers.
going through my struggle.
We got two callers, and I'm gonna get to them when I come back. But the brother just said something that's powerful. Lucifer, the light bearer, Illuminati, illuminated, Buddha, the enlightened one. Light is associated with knowledge. They've made knowledge evil. So when the knowledge stood up and said, no, I don't believe that, he got turned into the devil. Listen, you can't be intelligent and be a sheep and a follower at the same time. We'll be back. So What Morning Show. We'll be right back.
That anything?
Yeah, I raised my hand, but you didn't see it, so I just put it back down. But,
All right.
yeah, I mean, that whole thing was just, again, awful. You can be a sheep and intelligent at the same time. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can take that. One, if we recognize we're sheep, no matter how smart you are, you're not that smart. That's one way to take it. Clearly, these guys are getting basic words wrong. I mean, he could have looked that up before the show started, but he was going hard on the B, lie. No, bro, that's not what that word means. It's not where it comes from. You made that up. And so that's what I'm saying with this guy right here. I mean, he could have spent some time doing some research before he got on, but he's just all haphazard, willy-nilly with the information. Who cares who this destroys? Who cares who this hurt? He's like, I'm just here. He's like a bull in a china shop. And when it comes to teaching, you gotta be like have a scalpel. You gotta be a surgeon with it. That's why the Bible says that some of you would do well not to be teachers. Some of you would do well not to be teachers. For teachers undergo a stricter judgment. Zoe wants to be a teacher. He wants to be the voice of reason, but he's never studied reason. He needs help.
Well, that's what the show is, man. Hopefully we help the young brother out, man. And
so again, yeah, what I was saying is you could definitely, the whole purpose of the sheep is the sheep follows the shepherd. No matter how keen the sheep may be compared to other sheep, he's still dumb compared to the shepherd. And that's one of these things. And they're going to get into arrogance and stuff like that. These guys are very arrogant, haughty, proud, just like Satan. So they're celebrating Satan for rebelling against, you know how retarded and arrogant you got to be to rebel against an infinite, omnipotent being? If you grant what they're saying, that the knowledge stood up and said, no, you're standing up to omnipotence. You may be knowledge. You're going to say no to all knowledge? My kids do that sometimes. I'm not all knowledge and they're not knowledge. But on that small scale, I'm like, look, there's some things you're just not going to understand, young Padawan. So they got to understand that, so I would say on the flip side of that, you can be intelligent and still follow. Maybe people in certain situations, but definitely concepts and ideas, principles. Nothing wrong with that. There's a quote from Paul Washer that I always like. It says that, the man who is truly free is the man who makes himself a slave to a perfect master. And the general idea about that is we're all going to be enslaved by something. So it's better to be a slave to the perfect master. These guys are a slave to their sophistry, to their incessant babbling about nothing. And they're a slave to the gratification you get from cracking up, opening a fresh can of hot mess. And that's open up so they make a little noise.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're fizzing right now. And they feeling themselves. But not a lot's coming out of that. That's all gas. They all gassed up.
Oof.
We can go ahead.
Okay, Morel.
Round one, fight!
We can skip past this stuff.
With more pathological beliefs, lismically.
The experience where you say you're saved, then there's the fire battle and everything out. It's like, got it. Like the thank you.
Now, but
I got that when I was down in Texas. Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Listen, we got callers. We're all back right now. But y'all see what's happening. Corey, tell me the story on that, bro.
Quick story, man. This girl I know was working for this preacher, and she questioned him because he would take the offerings directly and deposit into his Chase account. And one day she said, do you think this is fair? And he cussed her out and told her to mind her own business. But long story short, he moved to Atlanta because he got a new congregation.
Wow. It's always a congregation waiting on you in Atlanta, I see.
Yeah.
Listen, we've got Veronica Conway on the line right now. Veronica, you got to weigh in on this topic.
People
Talk
do the
to
same
us about it.
I don't mean that he's wrong or right. I don't know. I don't care.
People do the same. Repeat that.
People do the same thing with Dr. Umar. People all gonna ask you what you're doing your money. If you have a business, if you're in a business, when you're starting out in the business, people gonna see what you're doing, certain money. They're gonna be like, people always gonna look. We don't know. For all you know, the money he deposited in his account was the money he gets, the percentage he gets out of the offerings. For all you know, he's allowed to take the money from the church. He's a pastor, allowed to do that. The Bible's clear on it. They're worthy. They're able to take money out. Now, whatever deal he has with the church or the people whoever he reports to, that's another question. But he's allowed to get paid from the work he does in the church. Now, I'm not defending the guy. I don't think most of these guys are legit in that way. But my point is just saying, like, according to their doctrine, they can do that.
So Paul says, whoever preached it, paraphrase it, they definitely worthy of their wages. I do remember that scripture.
Wages, man. They're doing work.
I think Creflo Dollar always preached that scripture. Shout out to Creflo. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hi everybody. It's great to be here. And so I'll say this. I've been blessed to sit at the feet of many wizards, spiritual masters. Osho says that the priests and the politicians are in cahoots. And so the priests represent guilt and shame, usually over sexuality, and politicians represent the control over your resources. So conscious sex and relating is really the staircase to God. As you were speaking to earlier, though, you said, it's finding the light. Light is associated with the orgasm, with the spiritual orgasm. It's kind of the best kept secret on the planet, and it's a thing that's been hidden from us so that we don't come to know our God self.
That's why we be calling.
No, you know what's powerful about what she's saying? And Brother Phil could speak to this too. The kundalini, the sperm in your nut sacks goes up your spinal cord and gets charged with energy, spirit energy from the consciousness. It goes back down. That's the spark of life. And the kundalini, what we know as the kundalini, sex energy and sex magic and all of that stuff, gets taken east and turns into tantric sex. So when we look up the word
Tantric,
whore,
is that a black folks television network?
no, that's centric.
Oh my bad.
But I'm just saying, what I find is everything that originated black gets turned into the devil.
Right.
The damn Egyptians in the Bible are the bad people.
That's right.
That's evil. When you look at the TV show Supernatural with the two white boys going around helping people, or Constantine, which is the new show with this comic book exorcism,
Constantine,
right?
on NBC.
This guy is using Egyptian symbols that Negro Christians have been taught to fear as evil.
Who should have come in a Chevy? Should have come in a Cadillac. I rebuke you.
So what they've done is took your knowledge of self, your culture, and made it evil, recontextualized it, brought in the dirty Pal Gasol version of Jesus, Cesare Borgia, and told you to worship that while they still hold on to your beliefs, which gives them power. The power that was inherently and ancestrally yours.
Mm-hmm.
I saw these
So,
old
can I speak to that briefly?
Yes, you can. Please.
See, there's a spiritual moment in any deep spiritual walk. There's a moment when we come here, there's a moment where you decide away from yourself and your soul in favor of approval, in favor of safety and survival. And the moment that you do that, the moment that you decide away from your God's love, it's usually a moment of terror. And you divide from yourself, and the church goes in and exploits that inner conflict. That's the exploitation.
Wow. Church is like insurance. Insurance is based off of anxiety. What might happen?
Correct.
Church is just
the
like
monster pimp game, man.
Yes.
You're going to pay for what might happen.
You know what? You might get into an accident and you might go to hell. So you might as well jump over on this.
Break it down.
I said that insurance is not based off anxiety. That's not what progressive or the general told me. Insurance is based off the fact that if you do happen to get in this accident, then you probably not got the cash to pay for it out of pocket. So you're gonna pay this insurance money and we'll pay for it out of pocket when you can't pay. Just like people that get prenuptial agreements. It's not based out of anxiety. It's saying in the event that we don't make it, you ain't getting half. So again,
bad analogy.
Bad analogy at best, just intellectually bankrupt. At worst, a sinister, diabolical, manipulative scheme.
Can we say pseudo-scientific BS?
Yeah. Shout out to Tim.
We said Kundalini energy going up to your spinal cord and
I mean,
all
that stuff right there, all that, chakra stuff. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's false. I'm just saying that, what is it doing for society? I mean, I ain't heard about that in school.
Side of the fence. Listen, we have a caller on the line right now. Nico from Pasadena. You want to ask myself or Dr. Phil Valentine or any of the panel a question? Let's go.
What the lady had said when she was like, the church and the politicians are in cahoots. I mean, there's definitely there's definitely some overlap with that. I mean, there's special interest group, lobbyist groups. You want to get to the people, sometimes you got to go through the church, especially historically that was the case.
Especially Catholic Church.
Yeah, especially Catholic Church. Even though most of the presidents have been Protestant, there's still that connection to the Catholic Church to get that vote. But on the side of that, you notice in other countries, like a lot of communist countries, one of the first things they do, in Nazi Germany did it, in the Soviet Russia they did it, in certain places in India they've done it, where what they do is whenever they're trying to take over, what they do is they establish a church that's in cahoots with the government. So the real church goes underground. Because the church that's established that works with the government is not the real church anymore. So the real church goes underground because the government wants to keep tabs on the church. And you can't just get rid of the church. So you got to make the church your own. And that's what they do. So I would say there is a connection. They're not completely wrong about that, but it's not as cut as dry as they're making it seem. That's my last little tidbit on that.
Okay. Just wanted to say,
Real quick, Nico. Nico, real quick. Dina Love.
What's going on, man?
Go ahead, Dina Love. I just wanted to rep my city real quick. Dina Love. Go ahead, finish.
Well, I thought I had an interesting perspective to add to the argument because I kind of come from the other side of the spectrum. You were talking about like hierarchy earlier in the show, and
yeah,
I was just wondering, like, is there really a hierarchy if there's this relationship with you and God? Like,
say again. Is there a hierarchy relationship with you and God?
No, if it's just you and God, like if you have a relationship and it's just you and God, like is there a hierarchy in that?
And that's a great question. Really, I want to throw it to Phil. Phil, answer the brother's question, then I'm going to come right behind you, and then the rest we can all pile in. Dr. Phil, you on with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you hear the brother's question?
No, I was on hold.
Okay. His question was, is there a hierarchy between you and God? That's what he said, right? Y'all heard that?
Hierarchy, yes, there is a hierarchy. It's your doer, your thinker, and your knower. Your knower is the hierarchy between you and that concept of perception that you internalize as well as condense into what you call God. But there is a hierarchical thinking process, and it depends on which one you want to focus on and the one that you become immersed in. Do you become immersed into the doer? Do you become immersed into the thinker? Or do you, in that way that Krishnamurti was speaking about, using your attention and your observer, deal through the knower? And through the knower, there is no way for you to be tricked as you are tricked with the thinker and the doer.
Good point. Good point. I tend to think this way. There's only you, nothing else. There's a higher you and a lower you. The higher you is God. Please understand this. God is everything. So you know what that means? If God is everything, you can't add nothing to him. So it is what it is. There is no predestination. God is. That's what God is. And when you're in your lower self, that's when you're in your weaker self. That's when you're in your weakness. That's when you're in your...
See, a lot of this stuff, because people don't really study religions like they used to, is when he says that everything is God and he asserts that with so much conviction, I'd say the issue with that is obviously that's called pantheism historically. Pan meaning many or all or something like that, and theism meaning God. So that's a belief that's just never been accurate. That's if there's a lot I can say about pantheism. I won't go too much into detail of it. I'll just say that at least all people to know he's abandoning monotheistic religions right here.
Yeah.
To say that God is pantheistic. So I won't split hairs or debate that issue right now on this call, because that's not the purpose of it. I just want people to be educated that when they're hearing that, there's a term for that they can look up. And it's easy when somebody attacks one. If you're gonna go right, say you're about to walk, say you're about to walk into we'll use a door. You're about to walk into a door. You got a door to the left and to your right. You have to walk into the door on the right. They go, that door has lions and tigers and bears, oh my, in it. So I can't open that door. So then you go to the right door. Now, but they didn't realize the right door was just a straight drop 1,000 feet. So just because somebody tells you that this one direction is bad, don't mean the other direction, the opposite direction is good. It could mean that you might need to stay exactly where you at until better options show up. So they're attacking, monotheistic religions right now. Pretty much every religion that's not pantheistic, they're attacking right now, which is fine. That you're entitled to do so. They're allowed to do so, I should say. But know what it is. It's pantheism is what they're talking about. They believe that all is God and God is all. That means rape is God. That means racism is God. They just finished quoting a scripture where it says God, creates good and evil. Now, I don't know if they were saying they disagreed or agree with that or whatever the case may be, but my point is saying if pantheism is what your belief is, then rape is God. Child molestation is God. Bank robbery is God. Because all is God. Feces is God. Mosquitoes are God. So that's what pantheism is.
Really?
It sounds when you say it, everything is God is everything, until you actually put a term to it and look up what that actually means.
You see people doing that on Instagram. Like, they see a beautiful woman or the skies, they're like, look at God. You think that's the version of pantheism right there?
I would say that when they say look at God, they're saying like, look what God has done. But so it's not clear that they're being pantheistic. They could just be saying that they're attributing these things to God.
Okay.
But yeah, pantheism is a definite religion we learned about in school at some point in time. And no. We can keep going.
All right.
I need to know, I need to figure out, I need to understand. But God is you. There is no delineation or separation between you and God. You just have to be able to see it from within in order to access.
Yeah, but you can't pimp like that.
Hear that?
Okay, we're going to put evil.
He says there is no delineation and or separation between you and God. That is a violation of the first law of logic, which is the law of identity. A is A and A is not B. If there's no delineation and or separation between me and God, you're saying I am in effect God.
Right there.
I'm not God. I am human. I am not made of the stuff that God is made of. God does not have extension in space. God is not affected by time. God is not made out of matter. But I am. God created the universe. I didn't. You believe in the multiverse. God created the multiverse. I didn't. I am not God. Even if I am God-like, I am not God. We can continue.
Right.
On one side, put good on the other side, and put we gonna stand in the middle, and all of y'all are by default evil, and then I'm gonna charge you 10% to get over here on the good side. That's the way.
The intercessor creates the hierarchy. Corey, take us to break. Go.
In my
There you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the 10% thing. Obviously, we discussed that stuff in the past, but the 10% thing was the Old Testament thing for the people of Israel. Christians are never told to give 10% in the Bible, New Testament, I should say. So, it's again, some of the things they're saying, I get why they're saying it, because they're attacking the church culture, and the ignorance. A lot of people in the church are ignorant. A lot of folks outside the church are ignorant. But it's easier to focus on the ignorance of people in the church because we know what they're supposed to believe already. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to critique somebody outside the church because you don't know what they're supposed to believe. You see what I'm saying? It's easy to critique a Muslim because we know what they're supposed to believe. So me and you can go pick up a Quran right now, right? Learn some quick Quran stuff, and then go find a Muslim that you know this. Y'all don't know nothing. You see what I'm saying? What could you do with Corey? What could you do with Zoe? We couldn't do nothing. What kind of questions we ask them?
That's a good point, because like you said, with all the Judaic religions, is open book. You can go there and critique everything from beginning to end.
Yeah.
You don't have nothing nothing with them that you can really critique them on, man. That's a good point, bro.
Just like the EPA, the FDA, the USDA, they can show up to a facility and shut it down because they got codes that they got written out, and they're gonna be checking to see if you're following certain codes. They're gonna shut your place down because it's written out.
Yeah. Dang, that's a good point. Yeah, because they can do a whole show just on the Bible. I don't know if you can do an
Yeah,
hour and a half or show a lot of flaws in what they believe in. I mean, you
yeah,
can definitely a
sure.
lot of contradictions, but it's no books. I
For
don't
sure.
know.
And mind you, think about it. They always so also it's easy to sit there and read some pieces of the Bible and then go, y'all ain't even know this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
fine, you got us on that point, but you didn't know it either. You said believe meant lie and be.
Mm.
You said that there was astrology in the Bible and Job and Amos or whatever you said.
And
And that
that's
was
the
your whole point.
arrogance.
You got it wrong.
Mm. And that's
You
the
said
arrogance. If you look at them, you don't see them quoting anything for whatever they believe in. No book, no old scrolls.
and they
I
got
mean,
these
he's
quotes
quoting
that
from these.
the Maserati, whatever they said this guy's name is, Chris Camortis, whatever, I can't remember the name they said
Yeah,
it was.
Krishnamurti, Jiddu
Yeah, Chris
Krishnamurti.
Camortis.
Yeah,
Uh,
and another Eastern philosopher. I don't think he believes in anything, but that's what they probably quoting things from his book. Like I said, I mean, he's a
yeah, we could tear that
so.
book up without even reading, without reading it.
Yeah, man,
So
that
yeah,
is crazy.
easy. So again, man. Mind you, I'm not faulting them for critiquing whatever they want to critique. I'm
No
just saying,
doubt.
I just want to let them know it's a downhill battle to critique the Bible or the Quran or any other ancient book because you have it there and you can learn
Hmm.
some information real quick and then ask quick whatever the people that follow that particular religion and go, you don't even know that. You just
Mm,
blindly following.
mm.
But you can't do that with somebody who has no book at all. You can't do that.
Facts, bro.
So it's not they're not smarter. They're just more they're just less organized.
Mm, mm, mm.
Opinion, when you do whatever you do inside, there's something talking to you. When
Absolutely.
you ignore the side that is moral, it becomes easier to listen to the side that's pulling you down. In fact, you almost can't hear the moral side when you keep listening to the side that pulls you down,
That's it.
regardless.
When we come back, Dr. G is going to lay down some heavy Jewish white science on us. We'll be back at 2.2. Holla!
Because of the work of Jesus, no.
Todd Friel.
Tithe! Give money and you'll
Well,
get the
the
blessing.
truth,
If you
man.
don't, nothing for you. What has happened to the gospel of grace? These charlatans have turned it
It's
into a
funny
gospel of
because
works.
if he had to
And we
critique
have
Zoe
put
show, he probably
people
slaughtered his
down,
show.
but they
Oh
put
yeah, he was
people
slaughtered easy.
under
And they using his
bondage.
show
This
as
is
a
one of the most disturbing
reference to
things you
prove their
might ever
point.
see.
Todd Friel will kill them dudes in the debate.
Yeah, we fast with all this. Let's just focus on Zoe.
And then put it into the bucket.
Answer.
Made for TV. Nobody actually.
Your people
threw
are hurting
money.
so bad.
They threw money on the
that
stage.
they need answers, and they will accept
and they
that
walked
as
across
one.
the money and then put it into the bucket. You know what they
Absolutely.
did?
And let me just say,
I want
Wow.
a church called Fool Fellowship.
Full fellowship. Reverend Corey preaching
Right.
out of the book of Corinthians.
Oh,
Corinthians.
So again, let me just say, there are some churches out there that do good works.
Where?
And
Where?
let me just say, because I mean there are
Where?
in terms of like there was a church my mother went to.
What
And
a coincidence.
let me just break it down.
Nigga, you can find good in a church.
But no, here the point. The point is, because I'm gonna double it back. The point is they provided for the elderly.
He can't.
They
He had
gave
to let
them
him know.
food,
I'm
they
gonna
gave
hit him
them
in a little
rides.
bit.
He said what?
It's funny. He's gonna double it back. Like they wouldn't even let him get his point out. So he had to like say, "Don't worry, you safe with me. I'm not gonna switch sides."
What you mean?
Basically, like they're attacking him for saying there were some good churches. He said you can find good in the turd, and so like he was like, "No, I'm gonna double it back. Like, don't worry, y'all. I mean, I'm still with y'all. I'm just gonna make
Oh, that's funny. That's
double
funny.
it back. So let me finish the point because I'm still on y'all side."
Yeah, yeah.
Homes.
They're trying to make the
If they
point
needed
there are some good churches. What do you mean? Like all the hospitals, everything you see has got Baptist, Methodist on it,
All of
Episcopalian.
them.
The church has done more for the world than any organization that he can name.
Yeah, and what he's preaching out of.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, man. Like, let's be for real here. Education, you name it, the church has something to do with it.
Mm.
The fact we're not all Muslims right now is the Crusades.
Mm. Yeah, that's a testament to the Bible right there.
bills paid. They can come and say, hey, you know, I'm struggling with my
I
cable
need
or
a
my
little bit of my
lights,
money back.
whatever, right? But let me talk about the dependency of that, because I got to a certain point with my mother where I said I love my mother enough to not try to teach her what I know.
Wow.
So let me pull back, because whatever comfort or solace this provides for
You don't
her,
know nothing.
I don't want to disrupt it with the truth.
But he's doing what everybody else on the show that's watching, though. you know, I'm just gonna say my mom. Everybody else is free game.
Yeah.
Everybody else can get it though. I'm gonna say my mom,
Because
but
we didn't birth you. You
everybody
know,
else mother. Go ahead.
we got to hear your craziness because we didn't birth you, but you sparing your mom all the foolishness. She is not going to
Sometimes the
leave
truth
her
is the
Bible.
worst opponent you.
You said that part again?
She is not about to leave her Bible for his foolishness. She's wiser than that.
Facts, man.
Will
Shout
ever
out to
fight
moms.
because it knows all your flaws and it's gonna counter all the bullshit you throw at it. That's how the truth works in your life. And
You
I
need
didn't,
to tell him the truth still.
but I did, but I don't want to hurt her, so I just stepped back.
You
To
can't
what?
hurt- you
No,
can't-
to what end?
But do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I get that.
So my whole point is, you still don't need an intercessor to do good works in the world. The church has set itself up as the intercessor of your good deeds. I throw money at the church so they can feed the homeless. Why don't you do it? I throw money at the church so I can serve in the community.
You know
Why
what-
don't you serve in
You
the
know what the
community?
church do? You know how much good we do?
I know drug dealers who bought the entire Chicago public high school basketball team's sneakers.
Shout out to Freeway Rick. Okay,
Ooh.
this cat right
And those
here.
drug dealers
Okay,
did
I'ma
it and
tell
said,
you-
God, I bet you.
Say it again.
And I bet you them drug dealers did it and said, and I want to thank God, don't thank me, thank God.
Oh yeah, and I
I'm
pray
sure
for
they did.
forgiveness at night.
Yeah, I mean, come on. They make some of the drug dealers were atheists that did this. These are probably Christian, Muslim drug
Yeah.
dealers.
Christian backgrounds, definitely.
Yeah. So like
When the
that
CIA
ain't gonna.
They what?
Now I'm saying that's not what they saying is not gonna fly.
Yeah, that's not like no hospital or other philanthropy work, man. They talk about someone buying some basketball jerseys. I mean, how consistent are these? Over the years, they've been doing a lot of good works in the community.
Without selling drugs.
Exactly.
started coming at him when he started buying people's houses that was in foreclosure.
We
Just
didn't ask
going
you to
down
help the
bank.
community now.
Cash.
We want to tear it down, not
Yeah.
build it up.
That'll
Dr.
get
Mark?
you locked up.
Right.
Dr. Mark?
That's what happened.
I know.
How much do you think a lot of the sermons try to drive home to the congregation, you don't belong anywhere, and this is your pay to belong place. So if you give us money, you get to be able to belong. And how much of that? How much do you think a lot of people in life just don't feel they belong
Anywhere but there.
Yeah, but if you come here and you give us money, you will belong.
Corey?
Well, I'm just saying, like I've said, like what the doc said right there. I've said that in my way. Church is for the suckers who looking for some homies, because that's all it is. I'm not just talking about the dudes. I'm talking about the women. My opinion of the black church, and people may get mad, it is a place where you hang out and you talk shit after the hustler get through hustling.
Damn.
That's really all the black
And you know
church
what?
is.
I've always said that church in the penal system is the life raft for being locked down. So you got to choose a side. Either you're going to be a blood, a Crip, a Muslim, a Christian.
Yo.
Yeah, these guys just don't visit a lot of churches because that's not what's happening. You know, people in church are typically good, honest people, even the leadership. They may be ignorant at times. They may be crazy at times. You know, we're talking about millions and millions of people. So you're going to see a little bit of everything. But if you just walk into a local church, it is not as diabolical as they're making it seem. You know, just walk into any regular church around the corner, and I'm not say you're gonna like every church, but you're gonna see people that remind you of people in your family.
Yeah, they said statistically, children that are raised in the church are 80% of them most likely not involved in any street activity. So it's doing some good, you know. um, was participating in the church. I think they have to be going. I can't remember how they said it in that article I read, but I mean that's evidence of what's going on when you are heavily involved in the church. You know, heavily involved in the church. But yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I doubt they didn't. I mean, obviously, I mean for the work they're doing, I would doubt they'd be in the church recent or in the later years. You know, so
Yeah, there's mainly a bunch of ladies in there anyway. Most of the time, they're
yeah,
not doing it crazy.
yeah. But yeah, yeah, they probably just over exaggerate some of the churches
Yeah,
they've been to. Yeah, I know their parents go to churches like that. You know, especially I don't know about their parents. I say their mom. You know, I doubt their moms was going to churches like that.
yeah, of course.
You got to choose a side when you're in jail.
Oh yeah.
But what people fail to realize is just because you're on the outside doesn't mean you're not still in prison. So you still got to choose a side. That's the only way you can be perceived as normal. Bobby?
You know, after watching and listening to this conversation today, my question is, how can people justify the discrepancy between Jesus and the story, the biblical interpretation of his life, and how the flock has been misled by the present day representatives of Jesus? For example, he was a carpenter, allegedly, and he didn't have a storefront, right?
Mm-hmm.
He went out every day, and administered to the sick, the needy, the shut in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How do preachers then get to live the life that they live and call themselves in
Is that
concert?
rhetorical?
Well, let me
with the
just say
life of
this really
Jesus?
quickly.
I got an answer for
because
that.
we have a caller on the line. I got to get everybody in, but let me just say this. That was a good question. Let me just say, you can't be misled by the truth. You can only be misled by a lie. And no one in our community is strong enough to stand up and say, what lie have I been following?
You can be misled by the truth.
No one has the testicular fortitude.
Work it out. What you mean?
You can be misled by the truth.
Misled by the truth?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've seen it happen all the time. Somebody asks you a question, you're like, if I say that, they're going to take this the wrong way.
Yeah. True. Yeah. True. Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
they got assumptions. They've got interpretations in their mind.
Hmm.
You know, I've been talking to cops and I told them the truth and your story's not adding up. You mean to tell? They don't believe it. Anybody who had to deal with ladies, you would tell a lady the truth that she could take it the wrong way.
Yeah, and be misled. Yeah.
And misled by it. It is not what you said. Obvious how the meaning they attach to it. So
good point.
Somebody might say, do you like this? And I was like, if I say no, they're gonna think I dislike it.
Yeah, misled. This dude is an
like
a-hole.
I don't dislike it. I'm impartial about it, really. But if I just answer the question and give the truth and say, do you like it? Do you like it? And I'm like, no, I don't like it. They're going to think, oh, he doesn't like it. I shouldn't have made this. He doesn't like it. Say, no. I'm impartial. It's cool. I don't dislike it. So again, sometimes the truth, because the truth is basically the person, the transmitter sends a transmission to the receiver. We can call it truth. The receiver still has to interpret the message. And that receiver is a human being. Once that message hits that mind and it goes through all their assumptions and prejudices and insecurities, what comes out into the meaning of the other side of that may be misleading. Happens with your kids, happens with your women, happens with your men, happens with your family, on and on and on. So I disagree. You can be misled by the truth.
Yeah, but he said when the black community is just falling a lie. There you go again. He's not really explaining what the lie is, though.
Yeah, he never.
Which,
Yeah, they don't explain the
just throwing
lie.
words out there.
Okay, he said the lie is the after the B, so we still don't know what he's talking about with that.
Fortitude to say Jesus is a lie in my
Here we
community.
go.
And has been ever since the good ship Jesus
got
brought
here.
some of us here.
It's been a lie since it brought. It's one of them things where your lenses are out of one event. You know, so because of slavery now, since slavery, Jesus has been a lie. Like what bad stuff happening over there in Africa?
Yeah.
Like Africa was an oasis of opportunity and liberty.
Yeah, that was what was going on. That's one of the things. I think I heard somebody was asking one of these black historians on one of them shows, what was going on in Africa for white folks to be able to buy slaves or steal slaves. There's a debate on that, and get on the ship. You know, and I think it might have been John Henry Clark. He said, well, um, Africa was already warring with each other back then too. So that's the part a lot of these guys forget to mention. Like what was going on for some of us to come over here. I mean, some of our ancestors to come
They were
over
doing what humans do.
here. Yeah, exactly. Fighting over power, greed. You know. So
They just didn't have guns.
Yeah, no guns yet.
No, I can lead a group of people just like Bishop Eddie Long,
Absolutely.
TD Jakes. I know I could do it. I can get people to do all kind of crazy shit and give me money, but I believe that there is a higher power that will really bring some type of wrath down on you for taking advantage of the sheep. Taking advantage of the sheep.
So notice he just described the Christian God.
Yeah.
He mentioned sheep. He mentioned wrath. He mentioned justice for manipulating the sheep. You know, he just described like basically all you did was just say like you believe what the Bible says. You just don't like the messenger of it. You like the Bible of it. You know, like that's crazy.
Yeah, that's the first thing I'm thinking. I'm like, where does he get these thoughts from? He said it's gonna be wrath if you take advantage of people. Where'd that come from, Corey?
Yeah. and then those said pantheism. You're saying you do believe in a God who will punish. So y'all not even on the same page with that.
Yeah.
Ain't no way no Negroes really believing in pantheism like that. If they knew what it was, especially if they knew the for it.
Smartest one in the room. He can just throw out words and
because they don't realize that would make manipulation God too. If all is God, then manipulation is God. Contradicting himself more and more.
Damn. Zoe might be the blue-eyed devil, man.
Some evil shit, which is
what
and
the Hindus will call that karma. Karma means action. You do a good action, you get some good shit.
I protect the
You
sheep.
do a bad action, you get some fucked up shit. I just believe that. We got a caller on the line. Mr. Grammary from
Yeah, well, there's karma stuff, man. There's people that do bad stuff and good stuff happens. People that do good stuff and bad stuff happens. You know,
Yeah, true.
So this karma thing, people trying to say, one, it's not quantifiable, so you don't actually know. You're just speculating. It's another faith-based belief.
He said that's what he said he believed. He said I actually believe that, so.
And I thought belief was a being alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some good shit.
I protect the
You
sheep.
do a bad action, you get some fucked up shit. I just believe that. We got a caller on the line. Mr. Grammary from Tennessee. You're on the line. You got a question for Dr. Phil Valentine. I'm letting Phil answer.
Say what?
But I'm gonna leave him be while he lie.
This one, Phil, you ready?
Wow.
Okay. So it's not well, I guess I can pose it as a question. So how would you guys answer this?
What should we listen to these
To
callers?
my Christian friends, and they find it very alarming. But I tell them that when it comes, I'm Lucifer when it comes to the truth, and when it comes to lies, I'm Satan. But never will I ever live as the devil. What do you guys think I'm saying when I say that?
Okay, so
And
really,
is that blasphemous?
so really quickly, I don't see it as I don't see it as blasphemous, but to answer it really quickly, I just see that as a play on words.
Yeah.
See, because I know what each word means.
Exactly.
See,
And then
see,
to actually
Negroes
research and study
always
the
got
word.
to brag on that they read a book. I know what that means. Yeah, I know what it means too. So what? It's not that hard.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think? Is that blasphemous?
I mean, I thought blasphemy was to speak ill of the deity.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought it was. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, to to talk about Satan is not blasphemy as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
Blasphemy is speaking ill of God, is my understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, I just think people use words and make it mean whatever they want it to mean, just like he did with the astrology stuff at Orion's belt. Negroes is crazy, man. Come
I was
on, man.
wilding on that one, man. Orion's, oh man,
We do
Orion's
not
belt,
school. We hate school, bro. We hate it. We despise
astrology.
school. We gotta put this stuff in hip hop song for Zoe to get it. I'm afraid, bro.
Orion's belt is talking about astrology. Wow. No, no, not astrology. I'm sorry, zodiac in particular, same thing, but
Yeah.
zodiac. Talking about Orion's belt. You're talking about the zodiacs. That's crazy, bro. Dang, that's crazy.
Words they use, because most of them don't even know that Lucifer means light bearer. They don't know that Satan
Adversary.
adversary.
They don't need to
That's
know
not
that.
anybody's actual name. You know? And they don't know
Let's
the
pause it real
devil.
quick. See, that's what I'm saying with this grandstanding and trying to be above everybody in our community just because you read a book or two. He's gotten everything wrong so far on this show, and I'm exaggerating, obviously, but he's gotten a lot wrong. A lot of his main points is incorrect. Am I sitting here trying to say this guy's dumb or he don't even know this stuff? It's not about grandstanding. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather you be wrong and everybody can hear it so that we can get you back to the truth instead of you hiding it because you don't want to be wrong in front of people. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind that part, but the thing is, like, okay, so what? Lucifer means light bearer, and Satan means cast down to the earth, and Lucifer, Satan was the other one, devil, Diablo. So what? So what if you know that the devil that we see with the red stuff came from an American black comedian or something like that? So what? How does that enrich somebody's life that's living paycheck to paycheck and going to work and coming home? They don't need to know all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You got time to sit here on a radio show and lie to the people while you be up there.
Mm-hmm.
They got more constructive things to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It comes from the Greek word diabolos, which
Right.
means false accuser or slanderer.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's just a little thing that I like to do with some of my Christian friends to get them to kind of think and just not accept everything on Facebook.
Don't you be blaspheming in him.
No, that's good
Christianity is a bullshit, fake ass religion. Corey Holcomb said it.
Damn. Christ alive. Dr. Phil Valentine, man, we need you to come in here and chime in, man. Oh, Phil is gone? Oh, he hung up.
Yeah, get Phil off, man.
Okay, we're gonna get him right back. We're gonna get him right back. Call him. Make sure we get him right back. Again, I thought that was a great statement that the brother broke down. The devil, and let me just say this: anything that is intelligent questions. The root of religion, the word religion, look it up. Don't believe a goddamn thing we talking about. The word itself from its etymological root means to bind. I need to control you. So if I control your thoughts, social programming, social engineering, I was going to save this thought for the final thought, but I'm going to say it right now. When you're playing chess, remember the bishop is in the king's court. He serves the king.
He serves at the pleasure of the king.
And what better way to keep people locked into a social structure than to start at a religious base? Which face with? Go ahead, Bobby.
We've been
the book
heavy
Eli
on Christianity, which I want
to. I tapped it in. I typed that in. I was like, we have some words in there. We haven't had any words on the screen in a while. So, religion is a state of life to bond. I mean, he said it, bond. I mean, what's your thoughts? Actual conduct indicated that the belief of divine power reverence the desire to please him. Yeah. Uh, what? I don't even want to go back to rewind what his point was on that.
He had no real point on that whole thing. I think he was I can't remember correctly. He was contrasting religion with intelligent people question. He said, and the thing is that that's more or less true. I'd agree with that part. It is intelligence. I always love that quote that says, "Judge a man by his questions rather than his answers."
Yeah, question things. Yeah,
but there's a science to discovery,
definitely.
and as a part of discovery, it's like with the falsifiability of a hypothesis.
Learn that at school, scientific method, definitely.
Yeah. So there's a way to be a skeptic, and there's a way to be paranoid. No, not the same thing. I think what he's doing is encouraging paranoia instead of encouraging skepticism. Which is a science, which is a discipline that you can learn. And I haven't heard him offer any of that to the audience. And that really grinds my gears.
It grinds your gears. Yeah, man. Introducing a lot of these doctrines, man. If you want somebody, like you said, want somebody to be intelligent, encourage them to think, the smart thing is to do, or the responsible thing is to do, to give them the tools so they be able to examine these things, So
they won't always need you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Probably just like I said, just sharing information. That's what it looked like. I doubt. I mean, yeah, he probably was. Yeah, because he sell books, so he probably wanted. I wouldn't doubt he want people to follow him, but you know, he's being irresponsible with a lot of this information, man. This is crazy, man. Like I said, I was used to watch this show back in the day, and a lot of these questions I they asked, it was just I don't know. I'll probably give my thoughts at the end of the show on that. You got anything else?
I said on that part.
All right.
Pose this question: is it just Christianity that we are having a problem with, or is it religion per se?
Well, in America, dealing with African Americans, it's Christianity.
Absolutely.
But on a global perspective, it's all religions to a certain degree. You go to India, they have problem with fake godmen.
What do you think the need is that religion satisfies across all religions? And what would be a better way to fulfill that need so they could let go of that? So what do you think the
age-old question
religion serves?
Age-old question? That's what you're saying.
That's the age-old question. See, this white guy's asking the right question. Before you destroy what's already here, find out what need it's serving and see if you can replace it with its superior. If you can't do that and you haven't figured out what purpose is serving, how do you know you are not undermining the very foundation of the people that you tend to care to liberate?
Deep.
Yeah, they said the white guy talk, man. They be taking notes.
Yeah. Let me see if they answer that.
Fear that you are absolutely in control.
Is the need that religion serves in people.
The fear that you are absolutely in control. The fear that it's like waking up, it's like being in your own life and waking up in the cockpit of a 747 and you don't know shit about flying.
Oh, I thought that was young.
I'm sorry. It's not intelligent to choose a religion without knowing at least two of them. If you haven't studied,
pause that
versus that.
They just said, wow, like that dude just dropped some bars. Two is arbitrary. Why is he saying two? He just picked two out of the clear blue sky. And you can't pick a religion. We pick our religions when we're kids most of the time.
Well, so you don't see no benefit of looking into other religions before converting to one? I mean, most of us are, born and raised in the church nowadays. But I mean, our generation, I can't say that for the younger generation. But what's the You don't see any benefit in that?
Well, I mean, his point wasn't about no benefit in that. I mean, you're on the opposite extreme of him. You're saying, is there a benefit to looking up other things? He's saying
Yeah.
you should even pick something up if you haven't seen anything. That's
Yeah.
y'all double
They say
upside.
that's intelligent. They say that's intelligent. It's not intelligent
Yeah, it's
unless you
not
look at your
intelligent.
yeah.
You know, but the thing is, if you have discovered the truth, there's no need to search out anything else. See, that presumes that that none of these are true anyway. So just pick which one you want to do. You see what I'm saying? But once we learned arithmetic, I didn't need any other theories of abstract concepts that govern the physical bodies. I didn't need it anymore. Math works. 2 + 2 is 4. 6 + 6 is 12. I got it. You know, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I got it. This stuff works. Well, you didn't look up any other types of ways of discovering the understanding the way the laws of physics works and the ways that the physical world operates in whatever. This one works. This one fits. It's good. It's true. I'm good on it. I'm sure there's other theories out there too, but this one's right. There's no logical reason to have to do that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts. For sure.
You know, so
that.
but again, so that's addressing what he said. And to answer your question, of course, I think there's definitely benefits to studying other religions. Dr. Walter Martin, before he passed away, wrote the book Kingdom of the Cults. Kingdom of the Occult. I love those books. They're 99% great information in there, and I love studying religions.
Yeah.
But there's thousands of religions that have been around. So it's like you got to study all 1,000 to pick one.
I wonder what Zoe, because he said all religions. He's talking about all religions, but what's his religion? Is his religion?
Well, he's pantheist. So technically, you don't have a religion. I mean, all is God. God is religion.
Wow.
How can you claim something that you just heard about? That's what I tell all my friends who are Christians.
Right. What do you know about it?
Which is ridiculous. He said, how can you claim anything? That's everything, the human experience. I mean, everything you learn in school, you heard about. You don't experience a lot of things you believe or that's true. So
yeah, most of we believe.
I mean, he's a comedian. I don't want to break down.
Yeah, I'm not gonna break down the comedian. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
It just makes them mad at me.
Of course.
They just get frustrated. But how the fuck can you claim Christianity if you don't know Islam?
Hit a Christian with facts and logic, and they will hit you right back with warm and fuzzy.
Listen, if they give you false education, why would they give you true religion?
Whoa.
Okay, pause it.
Do you understand?
What false education is he referring to? The one that people travel from other countries to come get?
Yeah. Well, he's talking about part of the mathematics that the whole world uses. The world uses. I'm talking false education. That's what I'm saying. So he's making a lot of these blanket statements, and I'm trying to guess what he means by this, right? If he's talking about the history, maybe that's debatable, right? But education, like, what is it about the education that could be false? With the sciences, like I said, the scientific method, with the algebra, what education is? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's very vague in a lot of his statements, and they're thinking it's bars. But you got something?
No. My point was just like what education? I went the first through 12th grade. What is he saying I got wrong? What they taught me wrong? I'm not saying
false. He said false education.
But obviously, knowledge is going to evolve and change and grow. And what our perception of it anyway, and so that's fine. He said if they'll give you a false,
who's they?
Through God, who's the they that you're referring to? And yeah, it's possible. Somebody can give you good and bad at the same time. That's possible. It's nothing wrong with being skeptical about it. If somebody gave you something bad, you can be skeptical about what they may not give you any good. But my thing about what he's saying is like, what the false education are you referring to? What percentage of all the information? I'm just going to assume for the moment he's talking about white European society, Western world, whatever education, right? what percentage of the total knowledge that they gave us, what did they say from 1st to 12th grade to get a high school education, high school diploma? What percentage of that does he claim what he claimed is false?
Mm.
I don't want to hear that from him. 1%, 2%, 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%.
That's a good question, bro.
Because they gotta be perfect. They gotta be perfect.
Yeah.
Say there's 10% lies in there. 90% ain't bad compared to. I'm pretty. My great grandpa got less than that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, go ahead. We can go back in there. Go ahead.
That's a good question, though.
If every aspect of your life is monitored, controlled, metered, and they're not, listen, knowledge is the real currency, not the fake debt tickets.
Knowledge is the new money, baby.
So if I got you chasing the debt tickets instead of knowledge, do you understand? We'll be back. Got to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. Zoe's final thought, it's important. We're back in the building. Zoe's final thought, it's important that we cover this. Like I said before, we have to control the narrative, our narrative. If we do not control our narrative like other people control their narratives, right? Native Americans mad at David Schneider, Daniel Snyder, owner of the Washington Redskins. You don't get to call your team the Redskins no more. We're going to take it all the way to civil court, all the way to the Supreme Court. Again, controlling the narrative. Stop accepting the story that somebody said was your story. Okay? Let me just say it again. Please remember that the bishop is still in the king's court and he follows the rules of the king. Please understand that. Whether positive or negative in its expression, thought is always creative, meaning it's always constructive. As long as you are thinking, you are the architect of your reality. So now you got to question the thoughts you have. And are they an original thought?
Let me hit this
right?
real quick. So they say, well, as long as you're thinking, your thought of your reality. So all the people in the psych ward, are they creating their reality?
Mm.
The ones that think they're Batman and Wonder Woman and can fly. The one that thinks they're one of the old apostles from the Bible. The one that think that they're the living embodiment of Muhammad. Are they creating their own reality, or are they just delusional? This is that law of attraction, mind science stuff. That you name it, you can claim it, you think it, you can drink it, or whatever, whatever it is that people say. Yeah, no. I'm not saying there's not truth to it, but you can think whatever you want, and that don't guarantee it's going to create your reality. I thought I was going to the NBA, and I ain't been in the NBA yet.
Or are you living a life that was already predetermined by the social game rules that was waiting on you when you were born? We've got to challenge these things. That's the purpose of this show. It's not to disrespect any one religion, but Christianity is a burden on Black Americans, just like Christianity is a burden on Africans. Desmond Tutu, he said when they came over here, they came with Bibles and we all prayed. And when we opened our eyes, we were holding the Bible and they owned the land. Please understand, it's a burden globally, right? I'm asking us to challenge whatever we think we hold as the truth. You're afraid of the devil because you were taught to be afraid of the devil, but you don't know the devil represents knowledge. Who created masonry? Black people, the Moors. We're the ones, listen, Baphomet, the goat of Mendez, Baphomet. Some say it's a phonetic corruption of the word Muhammad, Baphomet, just like they say Mohammed. Oh, but it's a goat. Well, the Black people used to worship the goat. It was called Amun-Ra. So I'm a re-freak your culture.
So that's what I'm saying.
Evil.
If they're worshiping a goat, that's paganism. That's worship of the creation rather than the creator.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all through Egyptology, man. The cat, worshiping the cat, you see on the hieroglyphics. The goat, like he was saying, I don't know if it was a goat, but Amun-Ra.
Yeah, the Greeks did it. The Romans did it.
Yeah.
The Norse, the Vikings did it. The Native Americans did it. Paganism.
Yeah. So the Moors ain't ain't nothing special about them. The Greeks and everybody else did it too.
Yeah, there's other people that would. I mean, I don't get why. I mean, maybe to some people it does, but I never saw why it mattered who invented what when, because like, are you mean the inventions that are you think you and I are going to care about Steve Jobs and the iPhone 100 years from now?
And people don't care about him now. God rest his soul,
Yeah,
but people don't care about him
like,
now.
why does that matter? Do white folks look at Steve Jobs and be like, yeah, we're smart? Maybe. I never heard no white person bring it up, but
Not at
maybe.
all. Which I'm actually shocked about. I thought that we would talk about him more when his birthday come around. You don't hear nothing about.
Nobody care about that.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just don't think the more did this, the more. I mean, so what?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially it wasn't even a long time. What they ran for, 400 years? I mean,
Yeah, mind. I'm not even saying. I mean, if people want to study and learn who did what, if you're a
definitely.
historian, want to do that right now. But that don't inspire me.
Mm.
I see inspiration wherever I look.
Facts. Yeah, you can do that just looking at some artwork, man.
Yeah, do this. Looking at my little water bottle right here.
Facts, yeah.
But I own it and use it and practice it. And I give you a remix, a diet version of your spiritual belief. So I can keep you disconnected from your belief. Because if I give you your belief, I give you your sovereignty.
Okay, hold on.
You
Pause
can't
it.
be.
If giving us our belief, our sovereignty, why is that a dead religion then? Sovereignty.
Yeah.
If that was so powerful, why do people that live that believe that ain't around no more?
Mm-hmm.
People from the Bible still around.
Mm-hmm.
People from the Quran, that was a little bit later on, but they still around.
Mm.
Buddhism and Hinduism, that's still around. If it was so sovereign, that Egyptian belief he's talking about, why isn't it around today?
Mm.
What happened to those folks? Why did their belief die?
Mm.
They wasn't as sovereign as they thought they were.
That's a good point. Well, can somebody give you sovereignty though? Well, grant you sovereignty, right? He said if they give you religion, they give you sovereignty. I mean, I'm trying to think what's bad about somebody giving you sovereignty if you're sovereign. I mean, isn't that a good thing?
Well, yeah, he's saying it's a good thing. He's saying if you get back your old religion, then
No,
you'll
he
be.
said they give you religion, then they could give you sovereignty. I'm like, what's wrong with that?
No, that's not what he said.
All right, hold on.
Give you your belief, so I can keep you disconnected from your belief. Because if I give you your belief, I give you your sovereignty.
Isn't that awesome?
You hear?
What I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be sovereign and governed at the same time.
If it's might want to if you pull it back, maybe it'll make more sense if you listen to it again. Just pull it back a little further.
Oh, well, the black people used to worship the goat. It was called Amun-Ra. So I'm going to re-freak your culture and make it evil. But I own it and use it and practice it. And I give you a remix, a diet version of your spiritual belief. So I can keep you disconnected from your belief. Because if I give you your belief, I give you your sovereignty. You can't be sovereign and governed at the same time. I want to govern you. So I must take your sovereignty. The root word of sovereign is reign. Power to do. We don't have power to do. We're Charles Barkley all over this motherfucker. Unintelligent, uneducated black people. Don't you know the best thing or the worst thing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
You want to elaborate a little bit on that?
You got it, then I don't elaborate.
All right.
That can happen to a good, strong black man is a great European education. Don't you know that undoes him? Because it strips the knowledge of self.
He said that strips the knowledge of self. See, this is when he's just so far in his bag, he's just talking. We get the information as a baby. What knowledge of self does a baby have? So that's why sometimes I do this with people. I say, let's walk this through step by step, because we're gonna miss if we don't put it in smaller bites. He's saying European education is the worst thing you could do for a black person, right? Something of that nature. He said, because when you give that education to them, it strips them of his knowledge of self. But we get that education in kinder, first grade, second grade, third grade.
Yeah.
When did I have the knowledge of self is one question. And when was it stripped is the other question I have for Zoe. In a debate, where we can have a conversation, I would want to ask him that question based off his statement. When did the knowledge of self come? What age was I? Did I get it as an infant? Did I get it as a fetus? When did this knowledge of self come to me? And then when did I lose it? He'll be like, I don't know when you lost it. You're an individual. Okay, when do people lose it in general? So again, it's sophistry. It sounds like bars. It's like, I can't believe it's not butter. It looks like butter. It tastes like something like a butter. It's not butter.
Definition between metaphors and real rap.
Yeah, he's not. He's not saying anything.
Nah, he's not. Even in his last statements, none of his thoughts was connected with each other. I mean, I guess he broke down the sovereignty, being governed, and the government providing sovereignty.
I don't see them reigning. The people, he said, people that took your belief, where are they reigning at? Are they reigning in Egypt? I see those who adopted the Christian religion reigning. That's what we keep it real. That's what we really see.
Yeah, all over
and then
the
if
world.
you're not gonna pick them, you see the Muslims reigning. That's all I see.
Yeah. You don't
I
see
see the
nobody
Jews
pantheistic government.
Disney and all these things that Jews people own, the Nobel Peace Prizes, Hollywood, whatever you name.
Yeah.
I see the three Abrahamic faiths reigning.
This is true. This is true, man. Yeah. Well, pantheists, I don't see him in no higher position of power. Maybe there's
They said
North
Obama
Korea.
is, even though he never claimed to be one. Some people thought he was. I think Bill Maher thought he was secretly atheist.
Even at that church for 30 years? Yeah, that was a political move. What did he with Reverend Wright for like 20 years or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah, that's wild. So, man, yeah, I'm at the chop.
Of who he really is. Great European education. Don't you know that undoes him?
Was he talking about college education? Or just, but when do we determine when is European, though?
We don't have power to do. We're Charles Barkley all over this motherfucker.
That's a good point.
Unintelligent.
Huh?
I said you got a good point. I mean, what is quote unquote European? Is it math? Is it the science? Is it history class? What is this European analogy he's talking about?
That's wild.
I mean, it don't look European when I'm reading on the page. It didn't look European to me. I just saw words on the page that represented ideas that transcend, any generation, any color, any phenotype, anything like that we learn and we can extrapolate from to build a better world and understand the world better. So, I mean, I don't know why it makes it European.
African American history is probably European.
I mean, once he defines what it actually means, that would help. But I mean, we don't even know what he means by European. What does he mean? Because a white person taught it to us?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's saying a lot of terms are not really defining a lot of things. So we have to, I have to guess and try to figure out what he means with a lot of these statements he's saying. So, yeah, this is
the devil's in the detail. That's why that's he doesn't want to expose that devil.
Uneducated black people. Don't you know the best thing or the worst thing that can happen to a good, strong black man is a great European education? Don't you know that undoes him? Because it strips the knowledge of self of who he really is. Let me keep it going.
That's nonsense.
There are gatekeepers in our life.
Who is he?
Part of the gatekeepers will judge you based off of your educational background. Part of the gatekeepers will judge you off of your religious background.
Hold on. Yeah, they'll judge you off your educational background because, again, unfortunately, the intellectual rigor is something that's champion more in college than in your formative years, first 12th grade or whatever. So
Yeah.
if he had been in college, debating, maybe some of these ideas would be.
Oh wow.
That's
He'd probably been better intellectual if he would have went to them European
yeah,
schools,
he
man.
did. It didn't really benefit me too much, but he would have because I had a natural knack for epistemology, but I think he would have benefited from it. He's a knowledgeable brother. To make no mistake about it. If you don't understand reason and logic,
That's
will go
interesting.
awry.
I wonder how many black men. What's the percentage of black men that actually went to a PWI institute? Predominantly white institution, graduate, get a degree, and they talking like this. I wonder what the percentage of them.
Always a black intellectual say the dumbest things I ever heard. drug dealers don't talk like that. The gangsters don't talk like
that. Nah, they don't. That's what I'm saying.
They be like, Father, forgive, so you can reminisce and wish you wasn't living so devilish. They know what it is.
Definitely got a deep understanding with evil, man.
They're not saying God is all and all is God and all that kind of stuff. And you create your own reality. So if I say it, does it become if I say that molestation and rape, molestation and grape is right, does that manifest as being right, or am I still wrong? If I say slavery is okay, is that right or is that still wrong? I'm not creating my own reality by what I'm saying. This is foolishness.
The Masons, some of them, quote unquote, worship the light. According to Albert Pike, they said they were Luciferians, those who worship Lucifer, the light bearer. You've been sold what? A narrative of what evil is. What did they call Egypt back in the day? They called it the light of the world. Once the white went into Egypt and took all of the knowledge, the Alexandria Library. Once they took all of the knowledge, they changed the name from the light of the world to the dark continent. Please understand, they took the light out of the continent. And when they took the light out of the continent, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, all of these fools had to wait 20 years before they could get into the mystery schools. Some of them even 40 years before they can get into the mystery schools. We created masonry. Why? Because we created the greatest Masonic feat in the world, the pyramids. Now the pyramid is a symbol of the Illuminati and evil. Yo culture. If we don't get control of our narrative, we're going to have greasy finger, chicken eating, diabetes having preachers up there telling Reverend Rib Shack telling us that Egypt is not a part of Africa. And this fool got a PhD behind his name. Stop worshiping the God that enslaved you. How about it? Give it a chance. See what can come out of it. I know. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I just want to say, man, that's my final thought. And I love you all, but we got to do better. We got to study. We got to show ourselves approved. We can't accept anything that everybody says. We got to challenge everything. We got to challenge the pastor. If your pastor don't speak the language of the Bible, and I'm not talking about King James, if he doesn't speak Amharic, if he doesn't speak Aramaic, if he doesn't speak Ashuric, if he doesn't speak Arabic, Greek, Latin, if he don't know the word, he don't know the word. He don't know. He just knows.
Yeah, again, this is just sophistry. Bruh, you don't have to know all the language to do that stuff. Just like
do what stuff?
To be able to talk about the word and to say you know the word, you got to know the original languages. We have good translations, great translations. We have a bunch. Most people say we have too many translations. We have a bunch of translations that give us, just like if I'm reading, just like in school we have to read things that are written in other languages, Italian or Spanish or whatever it was. And we aren't looking back now going, how do we know that really said what it said in Spanish? You know what I'm saying? We know
especially
that
all those quotes from Caesar and all, they were speaking a different language, man. All that stuff was translated, man.
I don't got enough language to be able to take from what he was saying. You know, I'm not saying don't use discernment and people can't mislead us, but There's a science to being able to trust to a good degree the different translations. I mean, because all these translations are created by different publishing houses and stuff like that, different scholars. So if I'm reading 7 different Bibles from 7 different scholars and publishing houses, and they all say pretty much the same thing, then I know this is probably pretty close to accurate, because these folks are competing for sales, for their Bible sales, and they all say the same thing. So obviously that gives me some good confidence that this is pretty accurate right here. And so the reality is, again, he's just talking. But we'll listen some more.
Know how to behave in a shortik. If he doesn't speak Arabic, Greek, Latin, if he don't know the word, he don't know the word. He don't know. He just know how to behave in a reverend-like way. Jesus. That's money. That equals bread. We got to do different. We got to do different. We got to be fearless. With that said, that's my final thought. I'm sorry. I'm just turned up right now. Let me do this real quick. Everybody around the table, I want everybody to tell everybody where they at. Starting with...
I'm going to hear what they got to say. So,
are we done or what?
Yeah, that's it right there, man. I was going to say, I guess, like I said, my final thoughts, I guess, to add on to what we said the last, it was God fraud. I don't know what my title it, exposed or criticism, whatever. I guess the best thing is to do. I say this: the best thing to do if you want to look at other religions. This is for the audience. Prior study what logic is, the principles and the fundamentals. Get really familiar with that. Definitely get familiar with epistemology, and if you are interested, you don't have to. If you are interested in looking at certain different faiths or spiritual practices, you have the tools to really examine and help you explain what you see and what you read and whatever, and how to interpret these things. As far as the show, yeah, I would hope, I would hope that, I don't know how I'm gonna say this. No, I'm a reserve. Go ahead. You go ahead. You got anything?
I would just, in closing, say, as you mentioned about learning about logic, you said studying with other religions. I would say studying with other religions, other philosophies, other principles of life, quotes, whatever it is. It's always going to serve you well to learn critical thinking, the laws of logic, the law of identity, the law of excluded middle, the law of law of non-contradiction, the transitive property. All these are the 4 fundamentals of logic, and then you can expand them out to all the different fallacies: genic fallacy, anecdotal fallacy, all these different fallacies that we have available to us to study and learn. It's going to help you decipher the truth from the lie. The one who is trying to beguile you and the one who's really trying to lead you as a shepherd. It's the only way we're going to be determined. That's what discernment means to do. Come, let us reason together. We got to be reasonable. And so I would say for the closing with these guys right here, if we assume they mean, they're just poorly educated when it comes to understanding what is a valid form of argumentation. And it's probably a failure on this European education system that they talk about. We're probably a failure of that, but the places we came from don't teach it better.
Well, so if you had to give a quick, if you don't want to be quick, you say it's a science. It's a science to research, and it's a science to skepticism. You want to add on to what you were saying during the show? I mean, you referenced that a few times.
I mean, it depends on trying to figure out, like, if you're in a courtroom and you're skeptical about if OJ did it, or if Johnny Depp messed with Amber Heard, or Amber Heard messed with Johnny Depp, or did Megan Thee Stallion shoot Tory Lanez, or Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion, whatever it is you might be wondering about, skeptical about what the truth of the matter is. The courtroom is using the science to determine the likelihood of each conclusion. Which one happened? Which was, he has to be proven guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. So there's a science to that. That's why there's a courtroom. That's why there's structure. That's why you can't lead the witness. That's why the jury is not allowed to go look up Google on the court case before they give out their ruling. All this stuff is done a certain way. It's a science they're following. Same thing with with physics and natural physical sciences. There's the hypothesis. There's a test of falsifiability. There's variables. There's I forgot the term for it now, but control group. There's ways that there's a rules that are in place. There's peer review. When people say you didn't follow the rules, and maybe this study is just circumstantial. It's not something that can be duplicated. There's a process at play.
You said a lot of words, man. But go ahead, break it down.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, all these things. That's the difference between being a cynic or a skeptic. Sorry, not a cynic, but a skeptic. That's the difference between being paranoid. Paranoid is when you're just in fear and anxiety. You don't know what the truth is, and you have no way to figure out the truth. You have no tools. You are hopelessly bankrupt, bereft of any type of discerning ability in regards to the subject matter. And so that's what we're trying to fight against.
But what you said, like I said, you said a lot of terms, you said a lot of words. So how do I know who's telling the truth between you and Zoe? Because you said a lot of things too, though. Said a lot of words I never heard of.
Learn logic and critical thinking. I named them already. Look them up. Figure out what they mean. Use it on your friends. Call into our show. Ask us questions, and we will provide answers to the best of our ability.
Yeah, if you just learn that law of contradiction should be easy, especially he was doing a lot of that in the show. So that should be a good indicator that he's all over the place. Definitely going against the laws of logic. So, I mean, that's what we're doing with the show. Doing exactly what Zoe asked us to do, the challenge. He asked to challenge the preachers and challenge this. So we actually challenge him on a lot of his beliefs and the way he thinks and try to see what's going on here. So, yeah, man. Um, yeah, we got that out the way, bro. So, oh no, that was like I said, I'm gonna just chop this up. Hold on, let me record. Yeah, I'm gonna just chop this up